My name is Esmeralda Simmons, and I serve as the Executive Director of the Center for Law and Social Justice of Medgar Evers College, a small civil rights center that focuses on voting rights. And today I want to talk to you about redistricting. Specifically, redistricting, how is it affected on movement on the ground? And a lot of people are calling movement on the ground, specifically population shifts in New York City. There are two kinds of population shifts going on. One is massive number of people are moving out of the city and going to the warmer climes, and the state in particular. And massive number of people are moving from other parts of the country to New York City and moving into areas that formerly were known as the ghetto, I will even say. That is, areas that many of them are huge pockets of land that have been occupied by people of African descent for now over 100 years. That process is called gentrification. And how is that process affecting redistricting? Folks, redistricting is based on the census. So whoever's actually living in some place are the people that is going to be counted. So yes, gentrification has had an effect on redistricting already. That effect is not as drastic as some people thought, but there are some districts that for 10, 20, 30, 40 years have been occupied by black folks that this time around are not even considered to be a black area. One of those areas in particular is Harlem, and there's a lot of controversy around it because Harlem does not have, and hasn't for the last 20 years, had sufficient black population to constitute a black district. It's been electing a black legislator, a congressperson, whom everybody knows, but now they're at a crossroads. Is that district going to be a Latino district, or is it going to be a black district? And who will the people there actually elect? But that gentrification is also part of that, because large numbers of people in Harlem are not actually Latino. They are the newly implanted white folks. And when I say implanted, I don't mean that somebody put them there. I mean that they moved into that neighborhood. And no one here is against people moving wherever they want to move. But when it comes to power, nobody wants to share power. So looking back in the Brooklyn area, we see the same sort of thing going on in the Fort Greene area. And the Fort Greene area has elected a black person since it first elected Assemblyman Roger Greene in the early 1980s. So 40 years later, that area, though still has substantial black population, is no longer it's a majority black district, but it's no longer a stronghold in terms of black population. Has gentrification, what actually will gentrification do in terms of affecting the district? Well, it will have a huge effect on the elections. When an area is gentrified, that is actually the gentry move in. That means people who have more money than the residents are generally moving in. That means elections, which are run by money, you could have a candidate that comes out of the new population, which is much better financed than a candidate that comes out of the existing population that was there before. So you could actually see a turnover in who gets elected because new residents have more money and may not want to vote for a black person. That's not such a new concept in the United States. So, and in New York State, we have racially polarized voting, proven time and time again, in New York City as well. So that's not a unique concept. So there is definitely some concern about that. We have another area just south of Crown Heights that's been renamed since I lived there into Prospect Lefferts Gardens. That area has also become a major area that's become gentrified over the last 20 years. When I grew up there, it was a white area. It then turned into a black, basically Caribbean area, and now it's been gentrified so that it's almost all, I guess that's not true. It's been gentrified so that it has a large proportion of white residents in the area. These white residents have been very vocal with their elected official and have commonly said that they think it's time for them to elect someone that represents their interests. That's every citizen's right. But with gentrification comes new money and definitely affects elections. I suggest that everyone who is able to vote, get registered and vote. And stop complaining about what other people might do. Get out there and do what you need to do. Elect the person of your choice.